Recently, Cambodia's Funan Techo Canal project officially started. The construction of this canal will help Cambodia get rid of Vietnam's long-term control of its waterways. But in addition to this canal, another major project between China and Cambodia is even more eye-catching and is about to be completed. In September of this year, China announced that the Cambodian military base, which it had previously invested $30 million to help build, would be handed over. At the same time, China also donated 2 frigates to Cambodia. In theory, these projects are a win-win situation for both China and Cambodia, but they have attracted strong attention from some Western countries. Some media even hyped that China is obtaining special rights to Ream Naval Base through some kind of agreement, making this base China's second overseas military base. So the question is, why does China want to help Cambodia build a naval base? How credible are these speculations from the US media? If you like our video content, please click to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can receive all our latest video content. Now let's get into today's topic. As far as I know, Ream Naval Base is one of Cambodia's 3 major naval bases. It is located in Sihanoukville province in the southwest of the country, close to the Gulf of Thailand, only about 400 kilometers away from the Strait of Malacca and surrounded by deep water ports leading to the southern waters of China. Because of its unique geographical location, this base has always been the focus of attention from the outside world. Long before, the United States had rested and replenished in the Gulf of Thailand many times and showed great interest in the Ream base, and even proposed a plan to lease the port. Since 2010, the Ream base has become one of the main venues for Cambodia and the United States to conduct joint maritime readiness and training exercises. However, as time goes by, due to the aging of facilities, the function of the base has gradually deteriorated, and it is in urgent need of repair and upgrading. As early as 2019, the United States had proposed a plan to fund the repair of the Ream base. However, everyone can see that the real intention of the United States is to turn this base into its own military facility. Therefore, Cambodia decisively rejected this proposal. Even in 2020, Cambodia dismantled some facilities built by the United States in the Ream base and stopped its maritime military cooperation with the United States. To some extent, Cambodia's rejection of the United States may be because it realized that the United States would not bring actual economic benefits, but rather took a fancy to the strategic location of the Ream base. Therefore, Cambodia began to look for new partners, hoping to transform this dilapidated base. In the end, Cambodia turned its attention to its old friend and neighbor, China. Everyone knows that China has never been a country that actively expands its overseas military power. So far, China has only established its only overseas military base in Djibouti. Therefore, Cambodia's attitude towards China is relatively reassuring. In recent years, the strategic cooperation relationship between China and Cambodia has been very solid, and it can even be said that it has a deep historical origin. For example, Cambodia's first highway was built with the help of China. So far, China has helped Cambodia build more than 4,000 kilometers of roads, laid more than 8,000 kilometers of power grid lines, more than 4,200 kilometers of water conservancy irrigation systems, and more than 20,000 kilometers of fiber optic communication lines. Based on these important cooperation projects before, China is naturally willing to help Cambodia transform and upgrade this military base this time. So in 2022, the Chinese ambassador to Cambodia and the Cambodian Prime Minister jointly signed a cooperation agreement, with China investing $30 million to help transform Ream Naval Base, with the goal of modernizing this old port facility and introducing more new equipment. In June of the same year, the transformation project was officially launched. As the cooperation between China and Cambodia in the military field has gradually deepened, Ream Naval Base has also undergone tremendous changes. Current satellite images show that the base has built a 300-meter-long pier, which is enough to accommodate various naval vessels, including aircraft carriers. In addition, the base has also added a series of large facilities such as dry docks, warehouses, and logistics centers, which has made China-Cambodia cooperation in the field of infrastructure another important step forward. By early September 2024, according to insider information from Cambodia, about 100 Chinese naval personnel have been working day and night at the Ream Naval Base in the Gulf of Thailand to prepare to hand over control of the base to Cambodia. The handover is expected to be officially completed by the end of September. In addition, China has announced that it will present two Type 056A light frigates to the Cambodian Navy and plans to add more supporting facilities to the soon-to-be-launched Ream base. According to my understanding, before the arrival of these two Type 056 frigates, the Cambodian Navy was mainly equipped with some inland patrol boats and small patrol boats for coastal defense. In contrast, the Type 056 frigate is a multi-purpose warship with a displacement of 1,400 tons, a length of 90 meters, a width of 11.5 meters, and a maximum range of 3,500 nautical miles. The frigate is equipped with a fairly comprehensive weapon system, including a 76mm main gun, a 30mm machine gun, an Eagle Strike, 83 anti-ship missile, a 324mm torpedo, and a Hongqi 10 air defense missile. Among the frigates of the same tonnage level, the overall performance of the Type 056 is relatively balanced. For the Cambodian Navy, this is undoubtedly an all-round warship that can greatly enhance its maritime combat capability. However, from the perspective of some major powers, the technical level of the Type 056 frigate may not be advanced. But it is worth noting that as the Ream Naval Base is gradually built and planned to be handed over, it has also attracted widespread attention from the international community. Some analysts speculate that in return for China's assistance of warships and a large number of naval facilities, China and Cambodia may have reached an agreement to allow the Chinese Navy to use the new base first. And so far, Ream Naval Base has not allowed ships from Western countries to dock. If these speculations come true, then Chinese warships and even aircraft carriers may dock in Cambodia in the future. At the same time, the United States and other Western countries have expressed strong dissatisfaction and concerns about China's transfer of two Type 056A frigates to the Cambodian Navy. They believe that this may mean that Ream Naval Base will be open to the Chinese Navy, and this may be a kind of exchange condition between China and Cambodia. Western countries are worried that this development may be a signal that China is expanding its influence in the South China Sea and may even pose a potential threat to U.S. interests in the Asia-Pacific region. So, are these concerns of Western countries justified? Does the cooperation between China and Cambodia really have the meaning of military expansion as they say? In fact, the concerns of the United States and Western countries are not completely unfounded. Because this military base was funded and renovated by China, Cambodia has made it clear that Chinese warships can temporarily dock here for supplies. This makes the United States and Western countries feel that the Chinese Navy may have obtained a warship docking point in the Gulf of Thailand. After all, no foreign naval ships have ever docked at this base before. Even when the Russian Navy visited Cambodia a few years ago, their ships could only stop at Sihanoukville, dozens of kilometers away from Ream Naval Base. However, since December 2023, China's two Type 056A frigates have been docked at Ream Naval Base, mainly to assist the Cambodian Navy in training. At that time, China did not publicly state that the two frigates would be donated to Cambodia, so this move naturally attracted attention from the outside world. Although the Chinese Navy will not be stationed at Ream Naval Base for a long time, it can indeed stop here for a short period of time and carry out material replenishment. Such an arrangement not only expands the operational range of the Chinese Navy, but also further enhances China's geopolitical influence in the region. For the United States, this situation is obviously disturbing. If the Chinese People's Liberation Army can achieve such a military deployment in the region, China's response capabilities will be more rapid in future conflicts in the South China Sea, the Taiwan Strait, or the Strait of Malacca. This will undoubtedly pose a huge challenge to the U.S. strategy of trying to contain China. It is also in this context that Western media have repeatedly issued warnings, claiming that Cambodia's Ream Naval Base is quietly being transformed into China's second overseas military base after Djibouti. China certainly cannot remain silent about these unfounded accusations. The Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs immediately responded strongly, clearly stating that the construction of Ream Naval Base is to promote regional peace and stability and has nothing to do with the so-called military expansion. China also emphasized that this is just normal cooperation between the two countries, the purpose of which is to help Cambodia improve its national defense capabilities, and there is no such thing as military expansion at all. At the same time, Cambodia has also firmly denied the rumor that China will use the Ream facility as a military base, because the Cambodian constitution clearly prohibits the establishment of any foreign military bases in the country. The outside world's claim that China is expanding its military presence overseas is simply untenable. But from my point of view, although both China and Cambodia have stated many times that Ream Naval Base is not a Chinese military base, even if it is really Chinese, so what? As long as this is a voluntary cooperation between China and Cambodia, and it is completely operated within the sovereignty of Cambodia, the outside world has no reason and no right to say anything about it. What's more interesting is that the United States has about 800 military bases and related facilities around the world, almost all over the continents. These bases not only provide necessary support for the deployment and training of the U.S. military, but also ensure that the United States can maintain its global military presence. It is worth noting that this number may only be part of the official data, and the actual number may be larger. In the Asia-Pacific region, most of the U.S. military bases are distributed around China, obviously to form a kind of strategic encirclement of China. Japan and South Korea are the core allies of the United States in the region, with more than 180 U.S. military bases respectively. Today, the United States, which has the most overseas military bases in the world, is criticizing China for only building a second base, which is a bit contradictory. Do you think this base in Cambodia is really a Chinese military base? To not miss out on our future projects and news updates, please make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. We will continue to provide you with more exciting and interesting content.